As an American, I eat apple pie, play baseball under its blue skies. As an American, I travel this land and follow her roads wherever I can. From sea to shining sea, I've seen a lot, and none of it will be forgot. And when my country called, I gave my all as an American. I was born into freedom in a wonderful land of mountains and plains, rivers and lakes. Forever American is what I am.
Forever an American, and tonight we're standing with America, especially with the storm heading through the state of Florida. Down here in the South Florida, of course, we get a lot of wind, rain, and power outages. Of course, internet outages are a big thing, so we have problems with internet tonight. I'm sorry, I'm running a satellite. So, hi Retha, hi Debbie, hi Nana, hi Barry, hi Wanda, hi Janice, hi BK, hi Deborah, hi Tia, hi Matt, hi Wanda, hi Pauline, or Paulette, hi Minnie, hi Deanne, hi Richard. How you guys all doing tonight? Hopefully everyone is doing well. Safe out there from the storm if you're here in the South at all. Hi Jeffrey, hi Amber, hi Rodney, hi Susie. Yeah, a crazy storm. Oh, yeah. Hi Billy. Yeah. Crazy storms are right. This Hurricane Ian, I mean, he came through and he's ripping damage today. I mean, a couple of my friends got video shot of over there where it actually made landfall, just north of Punta Gorda. And he lives right there. His roof, of course, all the shingles were getting ripped off right when the storm first started hitting. It's just devastating. We're seeing what's happening out there and watching so much more for it to happen. Of course, the Florida Peninsula, the catastrophic events that are still going to unfold once the storm keeps going up. It's going to be bad. Naples house fire, 4 feet of water. Yep. It's devastating. You're seeing what's happened out there. Absolutely devastating. I know I got our team of people that are going to be going over there, the team for us, with supplies and goods leaving tomorrow morning. Get over there and help people out as much as possible. We'll have footage of that, of course, coming forward. It's just devastating, though. As the storm is now around a Cat 3, so we are watching the storm still intently. I mean, the wind is exposed to fall in the next 12 hours to down to 85-mile-an-hour winds, but this is still a very, very treacherous storm in the state of Florida. We're still feeling bands of it here with tornadoes and everything else outbreaking. It's been a crazy day watching, of course, trees down, power outages, internet outages, pretty much all over the state of Florida. It is devastating watching people and what they're having to go through. And a lot of deep water where medical personnel, emergency medical, can't even get through to help these people out. So we'll have help there tomorrow morning, of course. The British pound is losing value. We'll talk about that some other day. It's a Cat 3 still, as of 15 minutes ago. Yeah, it's going to go back out and then come back in right at the bottom of South Carolina. So, Statesboro area in Georgia. The only way I know how to say it, but yeah, this storm is going to be damaging. I mean, it's going to go all the way up back into South Carolina, North Carolina, probably go into Virginia, Kentucky, and West Virginia area. No alligators in the street, unfortunately. No, that's not happening. But it's going to come back in as a tropical storm, just a lot of rain from then on. But really, major wind damage is happening right now. Major wind damage from earlier this morning, where it made landfall on the island of Costa Verde off of Fort Myers. Right now, as of 8 p.m., the storm was about 40 miles northeast of Punta Gorda. about 85 miles southeast of Orlando, moving directly towards Orlando. So, of course, we're looking at more damage there. Of course, we had even storm surge going over the seawall here. Our seawall usually is 3 feet below. The water level is 3 feet below our seawall. That is in the back of my house. We had probably about a foot of water over the seawall. Luckily, all the houses are built quite far up from the actual seawall levels. It's crazy, though. It is absolutely crazy seeing the damage that has been done and is still going to be done. Yeah, and that makes no sense. Kind of funny how it's hitting Republican states. Florida's a swing state. Florida's not Republican or Democratic. Just to let you know. And where it hit in Florida is where most Democrats are, in the Naples area. Yeah, it's not fun. If it's saying Cat 3 right now, I don't know where you're seeing that because Hurricane Ian is a Cat 3 as it inundates Florida. This was as of 14 minutes ago. Oh, now it just changed to Cat 2. Yep, you are right. It officially changed to a Cat 2 just now, so you are right. Billions upon billions of dollars in damage. Yeah. Yeah. I just looked. It just updated to a Cat 2, so you are correct, Brenda. But it's just sad. Of course, let's get into Europe because this is I know what's happening in Florida is devastating, and we're trying to help people as much as possible. Trying to help people as much as possible for the hurricane relief, so we are sending people out there. But let's talk about what happened in Europe. And the AP, of course, is trying to blame it, or the media is trying to say it was sabotage and that Russia probably did it. This is not the case, okay? Yeah. Well, that's a whole nother problem, really. But the pipeline, of course, Nord Stream 2, the Nord Stream pipeline over in Europe that provides the natural gas, is suspected sabotage of the 2 pipelines delivering the natural gas from Europe, underscoring the vulnerability of Europe's energy infrastructure and promoting the EU to warn of possible retaliation, meaning that the EU might attack Russia over this. And this is ridiculous because European officials are blaming and experts are saying Russia is most likely to blame for any sabotage. Its direct benefit from higher energy prices across the anxiety across Europe. But I have a question. Why 3 days prior to that, on that exact same location, the U.S. Navy fleet passed? 3 days prior, an explosion and underground pipeline happened. I mean, this is something that has to be answered and has to be answered seriously. I think this might have been sabotaged by the United States. I am sorry, but I have to say it because this is the way I feel. I know I talked to somebody else. Billy, call in if you want, please. Call in if you want about this because this is important. This is a direct reason for them now to attack Russia. This gives direct reason. If they blame it on Russia, they can attack Russia and cause more problems. And we already know Russia's in the nuclear threat with Russia, the whole involvement going above and beyond that. But this is a scary situation, saying apparent sabotage. Hi, Billy. How you doing tonight?
Hey, Chris. How you doing?
How you doing?
Hey, first, I just want to say, my prayers and thoughts go out to all my friends and all my fellow citizens in the state of Florida who are going through a really rough time. After going through Hurricane Sandy in 2012 up here in Long Island, I understand what it's like to go through bad storm and have no electric for 3 weeks and flooding and everything. So, my thoughts and prayers are with everybody there in Florida.
Luckily, I have satellite here. Otherwise, I wouldn't have internet and solar for power here. So
Yeah. All right. So now I just want to say something about this. This is a coincidence that nobody's really even bringing up.
this pipeline issue.
Yeah. How is it that this attack happened 2 days before this hurricane stormed the east coast of Florida? I mean, of the United States, knowing that the total media coverage would be drawn to this storm for at least the next 3 days.
And
Think about that.
Media immediately blamed it on Russia. First of all, why would Russia destroy its pipeline? They paid to build that. There was an explosive. That's not a question. There was an explosion on the pipeline. And they're blaming it on Russia because now, guess what? They can attack Russia directly.
Yeah, but isn't that a weird coincidence how this attack happened right before the hurricane hit?
Yep.
And it's they know, and they whoever did it, and you know what? I'm sorry. Look, it's got to be said, man. I mean, like you said, hey, I hate to say it, but I think I think it was America too. I really do. And
I mean, 3 days prior to that, I know I messaged you. We were talking about this earlier, or yesterday. 3 days prior to that, the U.S. Navy sailed directly above those coordinates. You can look it up; it's public information.
Yeah. They
directly above those coordinates.
That's a fact, yes.
And they were at slow sail. They weren't at full speed sail, so they could have easily deployed Marines or any kind of craft they wanted to, or even just dragged a bomb, and let the cord loose once they got it hooked on the pipeline, and done. Nobody would have known.
Yeah. It's, I don't know, man. I just don't know what to think. And this whole thing with Biden, he's on video back in February telling this press conference that Nordstrom 1 or 2 will cease if Russia ever invades Ukraine. And the reporter asked him, well, what do you mean you don't have jurisdiction over it? It's controlled by Germany. And he goes, don't worry about it. It will happen. And he gives like a little snicker laugh. And then there's another woman from the cabinet basically saying the same thing. I mean, it's so easy just to blame Russia now. Blame them like.
Well, if they blame Russia, it gives them reason to enter right now. Like they're trying to say Russia is doing a fraudulent vote or a fake vote for people that want to succeed from Ukraine and keep or annex.
Oh yeah, that's another thing. Like I'm watching Newsmax this morning, and the guy. Go ahead.
I'll let you finish first.
Well, I'm watching Newsmax in the morning, and the guy that's on from 7 to 10 or 6:30 to 9, it's called Wake Up America. His name is Rob. I forgot his last name. I kind of like him, but I didn't like what he said this morning when he reported on that. He goes, "Oh, Russia's having this referendum voting going on, and we all know it's a sham." And I said to myself, "Wait a second, man. How do you know it's a sham? How do you go on your news show and say something without any evidence to back it up? Because now you're starting to sound like Adam Schiff. You're starting to sound like CNN. If you're going to say something like that, at least have the evidence to back it up."
Well, not only that, like if you're going to go and say something like that, we don't know what's happening in Russia because we just don't have internet communications. We don't. But if you look at Saudi Arabia's big network televisions, are coming out and saying that this is real. People are really going out and voting for this. So why are we getting this media and the rest of the world hearing something else?
Yeah.
It's nothing more than us to just call up more fighters, more money. Biden wants to send $41 million there to do something, another reason.
It's just the way the media can really manipulate people and a story. Like when this thing broke that Russia was calling up 300,000 reservists. They're calling up reservists. They're not drafting 300,000 people. They're calling up reservists like we did in the Iraq and Afghanistan war. You call up reservists. But Then they show like this airport, this airport in Moscow, and they're like, oh, thousands of Russians are trying to flee it. And it's like, you're telling a story with no facts.
And not only that, the video is not even new. That video that they were showing at the airport is old.
Yeah. But it's just the way, like, they want to push this narrative, like, thousands and thousands of Russian men are fleeing the country, which I would never believe them to do. Because, the Russians have a long history of honor. And if you know anything about Russia and how they fought during World War II, Russia lost 26, 28 million people during World War II. That was civilians and military combined. 26 million. America only lost, I think, not even 600,000 service members in World War II. Our country was never even touched other than Pearl Harbor.
Well,
I mean, we really don't know what it's like to have
Russian soldiers actually froze on the battlefield marching. They marched to their death to defend Russia from being invaded. I mean, that's a pride that you can't say is a forced pride. That's an actual pride in a country. So, I mean, those soldiers, they actually take pride in what they believe in.
In the last 10 years, we're really starting to see a lot of, like, evil doings of our government. And this is another thing. I want to separate country and government, because to me they're two different things. Like, you can love your country, be loyal to your country, and you can be critical of the government that runs it. I mean, perfect example. Look what they just did to this guy who was he runs a organization that promotes men and families and everything, right? The FBI raided this guy, right? 7 children, 25, 30 agents, bum rush his house with helmets and flak jackets. The guy had no criminal history.
This is ridiculous.
I mean, why? Well, why do they act this way for? And they take this guy away in handcuffs in front of his children.
And now they're labeling even people that stand up to the government. I'm going to say I don't like First Amendment auditors, but I've seen a lot of stuff lately, even First Amendment auditors that are not breaking any kind of law. They're not instigating anymore, and they're still getting arrested and going to jail, which that just kills me, because that's freedom of press and freedom of speech are our First Amendment. We're not even talking about trying to take gun rights. They're already doing that. Now they're going after the First Amendment. People aren't opening their eyes. The government is going after us.
And with the history of what they did to Trump, with the FBI high-ranking members conspired and tried to overthrow him by taking him out with these fake dossier, and they lied to the FISA court judge to get these warrants, and all these things that they've done. It just, and you see how the DOJ and the FBI is being weaponized to be used against its own people, and you only see Republicans or people in Trump's orbit being raided and being perp walked out with handcuffs. Roger Stone in his pajamas, 68 years old, and then you don't see nothing happening to Hunter Biden. You don't see nothing happening to the people who paid Epstein money to go to his island and have sex with underage children. Where are these people? Where are those arrests, Chris?
Yeah. Well, and not only that, let's talk about the Trump thing right now, because this is something important. Now, of the updated affidavit of the FBI of the documents seized, only 87 of them are even probable to be seized because they had markings of either classifications or something or other. The rest of the boxes and boxes and boxes of stuff that were seized had no right. The government had no right for it. The FBI had no right to even touch. I mean, they seized the box in his office of stuff that was a personal thing, like 87 magazines and 3 folders that were empty. That was inside of a box, a personal gift that he received. That was it. Yeah. But they wanted to make it look like they had a lot of evidence by carrying out massive amounts of boxes of stuff. So people said, oh, this is how bad Trump is. Before the truth gets out,
My last statement I want to make before I go is just, and this is why I don't give our government the benefit of the doubt. is when you see all the wrongdoings that they've been doing the last couple of years, how they lied to the people, how the Department of Justice is lying, the Mueller report was a lie, Ray's a liar, they're all liars. The Schiff and all these other Democrats who lied to the American people for years, saying that Trump was colluding and they had evidence. So you know what? That's why I'm not giving them the benefit of the doubt. That I honestly believe that they were involved in this, and it was purposely attacked 2 days before this hurricane made landfall, so they knew that the media would be on this hurricane for 3 days, because the media loves storms. And then the mainstream media is not talking about. The only way you get any kind of news about this, you got to go online and look at different news sources. Otherwise,
and you got a
Fox
deep
and
research
nobody else
because
is talking about it.
they bury it. Even some of the stuff Fox isn't talking about now, and that's really getting to me now because I used to think Fox I could trust. I could turn on Fox and hear the story, but like when I'm hearing stuff 3 or 4 days after I talk or read about it and actually find out about it, I know Fox has already found out about it. I'm one person. They have hundreds of thousands of people working for them doing research. You're going to tell me I
Yeah.
found out, before they did?
Well, anyway, I just want to say that's all I got to say, and hopefully everybody get through this storm the next day or two.
Yeah,
and I'll
God
talk to you
bless
later, Chris.
God bless you,
You too, man. Bye-bye.
Yep. Now, definitely we're looking out for those people that are, of course, across the state, getting supplies going over tomorrow morning. So start helping people out as soon as possible. But it's crazy. Like the annexation and the votes that came in, 93% ballots cast in the Zempora region supported annexation, 87% in the Kennesaw region, 98% in the Locason region, and 99% of Duntask, which we knew was 99% of Duntask was going to want to be annexed, at least 99%. I think that might even 100% might be easy to say because they were heavily bombed and bombarded since 2014 by their own country. So this whole, it's a sham. This vote was a sham and it's not true and all this other stuff. It's just ridiculous. 18 more advanced rocket systems heading to Ukraine as we speak. $1.1 billion in aid money. This is money. $1.1 billion in aid money is going to Ukraine. This is sickening. This is sickening. We have people here in America that need help. We have people being evicted at a rate of 18% of the U.S. is going to be evicted by winter. 18% of the people with housing right now will be evicted by winter at the current projection. Harris is planning to go to North Korea or to the DMZ of South Korea and North Korea after North Korea's missile test just to show strength. Stop edging people on. We already know China and Russia are ready for a war. North Korea is part of them now. They have joined forces. This is not something to mess around with. Oh, Florida, you got to deal with the heat all year round and the humidity. It's just not fun. This is a major problem. And then we got our border. The border is just another freaking free-for-all. I don't know if you guys heard, but enough fentanyl was seized at the border just recently to kill 36 million people. 36 million people. 980 pounds of fentanyl powder was seized. This is ridiculous. Border security is not an issue, according to the Democratic government. I'm being honest. That's what they say. Border is not the issue. The issue is the people sending somebody to Martha's Vineyard. That's the issue. It's just sad. It's absolutely sad. America and the U.S. and all U.S. embassies are urging anybody to get away from Russia or that could be conscribed, even though there's no conscription going on yet. Yeah, 10 cities and made in New York City. 10 cities are being made in every city in the U.S. now. Every city throughout the U.S. Just face the facts. That's going to happen. What are people going to do to heat themselves? How are people going to stay warm? It's just sad. But we got to stay strong. We got to help people in need, be there for people. Of course, the economy is not going to be strong for long. It's not strong now. Just buckle up. Buckle up, people. I'm telling you the truth. The feds want you out of your job. They want to put you out of your job. They want to make sure they're in control of what people get and people don't get. The government wants full control, and the only way to do that is with deep state power. The feds being in control with other government agencies being in control. Sam, call in. We're not talking about oil lines. We're talking about gas lines. But yes, call in if you want to call in. We can't talk about explosives online, though. Can't talk about that at all. Just letting you know. It's something we do not talk about. We can mention the news about it, but we cannot discuss any more than that. Yeah, gas is going to skyrocket. Everybody knows that. Yeah, we will own nothing and be happy. That is the motto. Own nothing and be happy. Hey, how you doing tonight?
Hello.
Hello, this is Chris with Real News Live. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. My name's Lyndon Moe. I'm down here in Louisiana.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been watching the program, and some people have the misconstruction that pipelines are just laying on the bottom of the ocean floor. That's not the case. That has to be buried underground.
Nord Stream 2 is not buried, actually. There's 6 lines, and they float about 3 to 8 feet above the ground. They have buoy cement anchors that go into the ground.
Yeah. Well, I've been in the oil industry for 42 years, and in the United States, we have to bury them underground, federal law.
Yeah. I'm talking the ones in the Baltic Sea. They're gas lines only, though. They're transport lines. They're not going from a rig to land. I know rig to land lines here in Florida have to be buried.
Right. Yeah, it's like the Alaskan pipeline. It's above ground, the majority of it. But usually the ones that go in the oceans or through waterways, they have to have them buried for navigable waterways,
Yeah, this is 200 and something feet under the water, but it's not buried.
Right. Well, that's good to know. There's other things going on around the world that I don't even know. How's that?
Well, I got to do research on all of this because when the story first came through, I was trying to think, how are they blaming Russia? Who else was there in the area? So right away I was doing research on where the lines were, who crossed over that area within the last few days. I mean, everything just stunk of conspiracy.
Yeah. Well, it just seems to be mighty ironic that at this time, like perfect timing, we're already down. People are knocked down here with the inflation here in the United States, and something like this takes place, and people don't realize that it will affect us in the long haul,
Yeah, it's all going to affect us in the long haul. You've worked in the oil industry. Now, what happens during every hurricane?
Oh,
how bad the hurricane
it's
is.
havoc. It's havoc. It's a lot of work to be done. And you know, the thing is people don't want to work anymore because they're getting a free check. And that's the sad part is, you know, we need to get people motivated here in this country to bring, if we want to bring this country back to what it was, we have to get the lead out of some people's butts, you know?
Yeah. Well, here's the biggest thing is like right now we don't have oil in the strategic reserve like we should. So now
No.
instead of these rigs being able to take a couple days before they can get back online and recover, they got to immediately try to get these rigs back online. Otherwise, the whole system, because literally we have less refineries than we actually need to produce the fuel. So we're going to have a back surge of needing fuel. It's going to be backed up.
Yeah.
And people are going to see gas prices ridiculous.
Yeah, and another thing is that, you know, they think we can just open the valves up at the wellheads and start producing more oil. It's not. It don't work that way. You literally have to strategically go after and find new resources, which we know we have abundance of resources. We have zones that we have not tapped yet that we can tap in the need of, but that takes 6 months to a year to even get a tool down deep enough to get it. And then you have to build a facility to handle it, the production end of it. So, you know, it doesn't happen overnight. You know, people need to understand that, you know, when we start drilling again, it's going to be 6 months to a year before we start to see the reflex of it, you know?
And that's why I'm glad. I know everybody's going to think I'm mean about saying this. I'm glad this storm turned and hit Florida instead of hitting Louisiana and where the refineries are, because if it would have taken down one refinery, literally, we would have been in a gas crisis issue where people would be running on gas lines.
Yeah, you're exactly correct on that issue. Yeah, we don't need that. And maybe by the grace of the big man above, you know, he spared us that.
Yeah.
Because he knows we're going through a lot. So, but you know, we got to keep holding our head up and keep having faith in the Lord above, and that's all we can do, because you know this is His time now.
Yeah, and just be prepared for anything. It's not about being scared or worried. It's about being prepared, just being ready.
That's right. That's right.
I
know I'm ready. And there's a bunch of people that are lost out there, and it's sad to see. It's really heartbreaking to see this world the way it is. Because when I was a teenager, when I was a youngster back in the 60s and the early 70s, I never would have dreamed the world would be the way it is today.
It's scarier every day too.
Yeah, it does. It does. It's just it's a sad thing to see. And you know, I can remember my grandfather talking to my father, and them talking about, you know, we wasn't back then. We wasn't supposed to listen to adult conversation, but your kids will never see it the way we saw it, and their kids will never see it the way they saw it. And I understand now what he meant. You know, so it's a changing world, and we just have to keep our faith and keep our trust where it belongs with the Lord, and take it from there. You know, it's all we can do.
Hope for the best. Pray for the best.
That's right. All right, buddy.
Well, God bless you. Thank you, man, for calling, and we definitely appreciate it.
God bless you too, buddy. You have an awesome weekend coming above. You know, hopefully we can help these people in Florida and get their lives straight back together again. We're going to do all we can from this side in Louisiana.
He's in Florida, isn't he?
All right. Well, thank you very much. And we're going to be out there helping people as much as possible. So God bless you.
All right. God bless you too, man.
Right.
Have a good night. Bye-bye.
All right, Brenda. Well, thanks. And thanks for calling in. We definitely appreciate people calling in and having conversations with us, because we like to actually hear what other people think and everything else. But like I said, right now, they're blaming Russia. Hi, how you doing tonight? This is Chris. You're live on air.
Hey, Chris. This is William.
Hi, William. How you doing tonight?
Yeah, I'm on my other phone. I can barely hear you.
You can barely hear me?
Yeah.
I don't know why. You should be able to hear me just fine. The same volume that's
All
going through.
right. Well, I have some points I got to make. There was something I was thinking about. Who would have done that to the Nord Stream pipeline? Now, think about this. China right now is getting discounted oil from Russia. If they talk Russia into doing this, it hurts the EU, but yet there's more of a discount on the oil going to China.
Well,
So
here's
it
the
helps
thing.
China all the way around.
The only ships that were around that area was a French vessel and United States Navy vessels within the last 3 days. Now, before the gas leak started, there was major seismic activity detected by the Swedish seismic network. It registered a blast directly near the pipeline. Now, who else? I mean, why would the U.S. or why wouldn't the U.S. do this? Because the U.S. knows exactly what this would mean. That means they would have to retaliate against Russia, right? Russia's making money because they're still buying natural gas. Russia's reduced their output of natural gas to Europe on purpose to raise the price. So they wouldn't cut their own pipeline because they're making money doing this. They know that.
The ones who would cut
Europe's
it,
paying a premium.
The only thing is, China would have to get in there to do it, or at least hire someone to do it.
No, Russia would not do this because Russia can just turn off the gas output. This has to be.
Russia. China would.
I don't think China would. China doesn't want the natural gas.
No, they don't want the EU to have the gas. Instead,
no, this is natural gas lines. This is natural gas. No oil goes through these lines at all.
Oh boy.
This is natural gas lines that were destroyed. I think a lot of people got.
You know how they have these Democratic candidates who don't want to debate?
Yeah.
I got a question on that. Why don't these Republican candidates pull a Clint Eastwood? That's just put a podium up there, put a chair, and then talk to the empty chair.
Yeah, debate themselves.
Yeah, basically saying, hey, they're not going to be here for it, and this is what they stand for, and they aren't here to answer.
It's sad.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep. It's sad because they don't want to debate because they know that they don't have anything to win a debate. They can claim all their successes, but their successes all point to a failure.
Yeah.
For every success the United States or for the Democrats have supposedly had this year is nothing more than recovering from a failure or causing another one. Literally.
Mm-hmm.
People know this already. People are done with it. People don't want to hear it.
New thing? On left-leaning media, they're trying to blame Republicans now for the hurricane.
Uh-huh.
You know, I got a question on that. Were Republicans around during the Noah's flood?
They must have been.
Were Republicans around during the Ice Age? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they must have been because everything must have been Republicans' fault because according to the Democrats, it's only the Republicans that ever caused a problem ever. It's not about the woke destroying the military. It's not about woke nation destroying more than just the military, but destroying the government as a whole. And I'm going to say this wokeness is garbage. I don't know if you guys heard about this kitty litter box thing going in freaking elementary schools now.
Oh god.
There's litter boxes for these kids that believe they're animals.
Oh no.
Yep.
I heard
it's happening even in the most Republican or the reddest parts of the country. Small towns even. This is sickening.
Point I did on 10 cities. New York, the mayor is actually building that, right? Remember when they had the Haitians come in and they called them Biden bills? He had to get rid of them real quick. Now they're going to New York. They have to build them. And he's on board for it because it's one of his left-leaning mayors doing it. You know, that's just showing the hypocrisy again. soon the whole poor is going to be in there because the recession leads to a depression,
Yep.
which
Yeah,
means what's going to happen to these people?
yeah.
Rent's going to
Well,
go up. Mortgages are going up.
we're talking
Where people-
18% of people in the United States will be evicted by winter.
Yeah.
18%. That's a huge number. I mean, what are
That's
we
what
going to do with 75 million people without homes? On
That's
top
what
of the
happened
homeless we
during
already have.
the Depression at its worst point in 1929. In 1919, it was worse than that. So we're going to work up to be worse than the 1919 Depression, which Calvin Coolidge changed from being a progressive to being libertarian to bring in the Roaring Twenties, because he had the pandemic, he had the war he just came out of, he had various things that Teddy Roosevelt tried to do, change towards socialism. Instead, he brought in libertarianism, which is more freedoms. And then Hoover came in or whoever came in after him, screwed all that up by taking away everything Coolidge did and created the 1929 Depression. But he got rid of the Depression within 1 year. That's what we need to do again.
Well, the problem is now is our recovery is going to be a lot harder because we don't produce anything here in the U.S. anymore. If China decides to do what they're talking about doing, and they do take Taiwan, and they move on Taiwan, and we decide to sanction China, China just stops exporting all goods to the U.S. They don't care. They're ready to do it. They've already changed a lot of production lines into military production. So they're ready for war, for a major war. They're getting ready for a major war, and we're standing here sitting on our thumbs. I'm not going to...
Just Germany, which Coolidge had to deal with. Germany just came out of it. And then they were beginning to go anti-Jewish. They're going either brown shirts or black shirts. Taking over Germany.
It's a sad stance of events that we're facing.
So it's like we're getting it all at one time.
Yeah.
Well, I'll let you go here. I'm beginning to lose my breath. This,
all right, well, take breaks so you don't do that. We don't want that happening.
All right, talk to you later.
God bless you, man.
All right, be safe.
You too. It's devastating what's happening to the country right now, and it's like we're letting it happen. I know a lot of people saying, well, if we stand up, they just push it back down. Well, it's not about standing up and letting yourself get pushed back down. It's about getting back up. Military. China doesn't care. China does not care at this point. Oh my goodness. It's getting scary. What's America going to do with the ports? That's the biggest thing. What's America going to do about jobs? What's America going to do about people not having a way to go and survive? Which is sad. It is absolutely sad to see what's going on. Hi, how you doing tonight? Welcome to Real News Live, Alex.
Hey, Chris, how you doing, brother?
Pretty good, pretty good.
You know, I was actually kind of worried about you. Are you on the West Coast or East Coast of Florida?
I'm about 20 miles north of Miami. So we've been having no power, on and off, no internet.
Yeah, I've been seeing lots of videos and stuff. I wanted to hit you up on Messenger earlier and, kind of see how you're doing, but I've been super, super busy with work. I got that Kid Rock concert coming up this weekend. And we got 2 food trucks, 3 booths.
That's going to be a lot of work for you.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, absolutely.
Hey, but that's how you make the money, right? At least you're working. That's what you got to think. At least I'm still
Well,
working. 'Cause-
oh yeah, yeah, I'm still working, but that's one of the reasons why I wanted to call in is especially about the food prices with everything going on. You know, kind of wanted to get off to like a different subject, but with the food prices, I go to Restaurant and Depot, which is where a lot of restaurants, shop for their foods. I mean, you can buy a whole half lamb, half goat, half a cow if you wanted to.
Yeah.
Prices are literally skyrocketing 3-4 times what they used to be a year ago. I used to get, a case of bacon, $25 for about 15 pounds. Now we're looking at like 70, 80 pounds. $70, $80 for 15 pounds of bacon.
And that's commercial price. And that's
Yeah,
ridiculous.
that's literally commercial price. Yeah, we're not even talking, grocery store price. Commercial price stuff, but not just that. Shelves are getting empty. Like rice and beans, you can still get. A lot of like bakers, like nuts, pecans, pistachios, just all that. The bags of nuts, 5-pound bag of whatever nut you want, they're literally almost empty. You might have like
Now that
4
you're
or
saying something
5
about
bags.
nuts, I do want to say something really quick about.
Yeah.
Be careful, you guys. Almond shortages are happening, so you see a lot more bitter almonds at grocery stores. Do not use them to try to produce your own almond milk or anything of that
Nope.
nature. Bitter almonds, you put them in water when they're crushed up, and they produce a lot of cyanide gas.
Yep.
They're very dangerous. I wanted to say that really quick just because.
Well, that's also a California thing, too. California is one of the largest producers of almonds in the world. Like, we really are. And they're blaming a lot of the water shortage on the almond farms because literally if you add it all up, the water consumption every year is almost equivalent to about half the city of Los Angeles.
Well, it's 1,000 gallons of water for 1 pound of almonds. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's a large amount, and we're pumping it all in from the Colorado River. But that's one of the big things that they're trying to throw here in California is we have to stop all the almond farms, shut them all down. Well, these almond farms have been here for well over 100 years.
Well, there's been almond farms there, but not in the means they are now. They've grown to popularity because of almond milk and all this alternative.
They're way larger than they used to be.
I mean, even if you look at the Beyond Meat is now falling drastically.
Yep.
I mean, they're failing. The company's going to go belly up.
Well, oh no, absolutely. And I'm saying this like even being in the restaurant industry, a lot of people, food trucks, restaurants, they don't want to use the Beyond Meat or anything. Like when we do large events like Coachella, Stagecoach, Rolling Loud, a lot of big, music events. Like I said, I'm doing Kid Rock this weekend at Glen Helen. They usually want a vegetarian vendor or a vegan vendor there, kind of mix it up. No one wants to eat there unless it's like rice and veggies. Yeah, they'll eat that. The Beyond Meat and stuff, people don't want that anymore.
True vegans don't want something that's a meat substitute. They don't want it.
Yep. And see, it's yeah, exactly. It's like Chipotle, a very large chain. They will not use the Beyond Meat at all because it's too processed.
Yep.
If you look at Chipotle, they have 47 ingredients in their entire menu. 47 ingredients.
And a lot of restaurants are going that way now.
Yep.
Cleaner food is better to eat. I don't care if it's real. Like, real meat is obviously a lot better for you than trying to make something taste like meat, because you're going to have to use so many chemicals. It's not even funny. But.
Yeah, exactly. See, a lot of vegans, vegetarians, they don't even mess with the Beyond Meat or anything. If they want a veggie burger, they'll get the actual quote-unquote garden burger.
Yeah.
You know, the original garden
burger.
burger.
That tastes like black beans. They don't want something that tastes like meat.
Yeah. It's like black beans, corn, quinoa, stuff like that, just ground up, put into a patty, grill it off real quick. And I love it because I have a lot of gastro issues, so I don't eat a lot of red meat or anything like that. I eat a lot of salads, veggies.
I've been devastated lately. My butcher, I mean, he won't, he knows I eat high quality ribeyes, and I order them 20, 30 pounds at a time. So I order him, and I was talking to him. He goes, right now I can't even, what should be an F1 Wagyu steak, $120 a steak. You can't even buy a decent ribeye for that price.
No.
Because ribeye, I mean, the garbage ribeyes that are tough are selling for much higher prices because they got to get to sell the meat that they slaughtered. They have so much of it to sell.
Yep. Yeah, and when I go to Restaurant Depot, it's really hard to find between choice and prime because it literally fluctuates. You're going to have a whole bunch of one or the other. Seeing USDA Prime, USDA Choice.
Yeah, people don't even know what that means anymore.
Oh yeah, I know.
Which is like the greatest.
They don't care as long as it's red and it used to move. Yeah. All right, that's steak. All right, Chris. Well,
God bless, man. Thank you for calling. We definitely appreciate hearing about what's actually happening in the industry.
Yeah, definitely. God bless as well. Love talking to you guys. Love the Real News Live family. Sarah's sitting over here waving at me saying goodbye. All right, Sarah, say good night.
Good
night, everybody.
Good night.
Guys, all right, have a good night.
All right. Thank you. Well, you heard it. I mean, from restaurant industry to the oil industry tonight. I mean, we appreciate you guys calling it. We want to hear what's impacting and what you feel is impacting the most in this country. It's important for us to know as a people, to be able to talk to one another and explain to each other. God bless everybody that's out there and dealing with power outages, or family in Florida, of course, with the storm. Hopefully it doesn't come back as bad. It's not supposed to, but all I can say is God bless you guys. Thank you for calling in tonight. We definitely appreciate you guys. If you guys can afford to donate, please do. If you guys want to order supplies, please go to the Amazon supply list for the hurricane supplies. Order from there. Like I said, this will be an ongoing thing for quite a while, the recovery effort, from the amount of damage and the amount of power outages. So, but God bless you guys. We will see you guys Friday night, of course, with the videos and stuff of what's actually happening or going on over there, the damage and everything else. God bless. See you Friday. Stay dry.
As an American, I eat apple pie, play baseball under its blue skies. As an American, I travel this land and follow her roads wherever I can. From sea to shining sea, I've seen a lot, and none of it will be forgot. And when my country called, I gave my all as an American. I was born into freedom. in a wonderful land of mountains and plains, rivers and lakes. Forever American is what I am. A past as rich as any can be. My father's worked hard to give this to me. I love this place I come from. To live another way, I cannot forsake.